Okay, we are on. So thank you guys for getting on. I appreciate everybody who's, whose faces, beautiful faces I can see. Thank you for that. Get ready to take notes. If you want to jump in, ask questions. I don't mind. Just don't get too crazy with it. If you do have one, maybe you want to put it on the chat. You can do that as well. Okay, so 90 days to changing your life. Imagine that, right? Think about that for a second. We hear about habits, right? There's books written on how to change habits. There's books written on changing your life, and it really doesn't take a long time to do so. 90 days may appear to be long, but you guys know, hey, look, from January to we're already in March, 90 days are gone. What have you changed in the last 90 days? How quickly did it come? What adjustments have you created? Where is your business at right now? Right? It doesn't have to take long, but it does require the effort. All right. And today I want to go over with you guys step by step on how to do those things, how to make the adjustments over the next 90 days and really focus on the first 30, because I think that's the platform, that's the takeoff speed. They talk about airplanes, right? They have to reach a certain speed in order to take off from the ground, right? Popcorn has to be in the microwave for a long enough period of time for it to pop, right? A lot of times, if I take a popcorn bag, I don't know if they still have those today, but back then we had popcorn bags, you put it in the microwave and they have to be there for what, 2.5, 3 minutes. What happens, Ian, if I put it in for 1 minute and take it out? Nothing. What if I do that for the next year? Every day, put it in for 10 minutes and get it out. For 1 minute and take it out. Nothing still. It has to be there long enough for it to pop, right? I think that's one of the challenges here in Primerica for some of us who've probably been here longer than most, right? Or maybe you're brand new. Whether you're new or you've been here a while, you have to marinate long enough for it to pop. You have to. And today I'm going to talk about what are the things you need to do that. All right. So you can start, like Josh says, snap, crackle, pop. All right. And then we take it from there. So let me pull up my presentation. Where is it? And I hope everybody's good and family's healthy. I know things are still crazy out there. So, I hope the first thing, I hope everybody's doing good. So, all right, let's get going. Changing your life in the next 90 days and what you need to do, right? Step by step, all right? So, at the start, hold on a second, mute your phone, guys, or your things, okay? Thank you. So, at the start, first you have to realize that the old you, guys, mute your slides. If you don't mind, thank you. Right, first you have to understand that the old you is running the new you. Right, that's the first thing that you have to realize. A lot of times we try to do better in life, Ian, but we try to do it with what we have been doing. Life doesn't work like that, right? In relationships, man, people change. I know I change. I know Tanya changes. We have to adjust to that. And in order for that to happen, you first got to realize it. You got to first understand that you can't keep doing the same things that you have done and expect something different. It doesn't work. A lot of times when people come into this business and they're here for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 or 5 years, and they don't understand why they haven't had success. Right? Well, it's because the old you is still running the new you. Okay? Keeping you old. Right? Number one, you have to have a CCMP, a crystal clear mental picture of what you want. That's the first step. It doesn't change from that. I don't care if it's making a couple grand extra a month or making 100 grand a year, right? None of those two are mistakes. Success here is not a mistake. You have to have clarity. You have to have an understanding of exactly what you want. whether it is, again, high success or simply making a couple extra bucks, $100 a month, right? But it starts with that. Then once you're in business, you have to understand that results matter. A lot of people forget that part, right? You come in and don't realize, you try to just kind of go with the flow. No, in business for yourself, results is what we care about, right? It's what you should care about, right? Making money matters, and that's non-negotiable. There are things that you have to do that are non-negotiable here to make money. At a job, what's really non-negotiable? Just get there before you're supposed to. 5 minutes before, do your job while you're there, don't bother nobody, and leave in time, right? That's the job. It's not that hard. After a while, meritocracy kicks in. You're average. There's nothing more that it's required of you at the job. Here, not the same way. And one thing that I've learned, and I got this from Bruce Cork years ago. Bruce always talks about goals have numbers, not words or stories. I don't care about what you're telling me. I don't care about your excuses. I don't care about the stories. By the way, it's not me. Your business doesn't care. Goals have a number attached to it. Period. TNT. Do it today, not tomorrow. Right? These are some fundamentals. These are some levels and changes you got to understand and realize it. Expect it to be challenging, guys. No one has ever told you it's going to come here and be easy. It's not supposed to be. I love it that it's hard, Ian. I really do. I love it that most people are not going to make it. I know that sounds kind of weird, but why? Because if everybody did make it, I know the average person doesn't put in right effort. So if everybody made it, it wouldn't be worth what it's worth. So the fact that it is challenging, that it is hard, that not everybody is supposed to make it here, to me is it's a good thing, right? Now, here's the second part to that coin, or the other side of that coin. Expect to meet those challenges. Know that it's going to be hard, but understand that you're going to put in the effort. Because, hard or challenge is always relative, right? Things that are challenging is relative to what your experiences have been. Some things for you that may be hard may not be for someone else, and vice versa. To me, when it comes to building a business, you know what's challenging? You know what sucks? Working 40 years and having nothing at the end of it. That sucks. And that's where most people are today. I sit with families every day. And that's what you hear. I sit down with 20-year-olds starting a family, 22. This week, I sat down with a young couple, brand new baby, I think 3 months old, 4 months old. And I'm talking to them about retirement. And they say, man, hopefully I can retire by 70. Like at 23 years old, that's how they're thinking. They have been conditioned that way. That's what they see around them. That's their environment. So you got to expect for it to be challenging and for you to do the work. Okay? So here's the first step. The next 90 days starts with today. What are you going to do today? Right? Here's what I recommend. And by the way, nothing I'm going to share with you, for most of you, unless you're new, nothing I'm sharing with you is new. It's more of a reminder. That's all it is. And maybe a different way to kind of hear it, to help you to get it going, right? Today, here's what I challenge you. You put your top 10 list. You do. Now, what kind of people do you put on there? Hot market. I still have people in my market that I haven't spoken to, that are lukewarm. I think I've spoken to everybody hot, but at least warm market, I still have a ton of people in my warm market that I got to call and talk to. So I challenge you right now, put 3 people right now that come to mind that you haven't spoken to. Or maybe it's been a couple, some time that you've spoken to them. Right? Maybe the top people you hang out with. Who did you hang out with yesterday? Who'd you party with? Who did you, go to the store with? Put them down. If somebody called you right now to help you to move, you don't want to do that, but you will help them. Put those people right now in your top 10. Start with that. Now, if you're not independent already, talk with your trainer. Tell them, listen, can we set up 30 minutes to do a work session on how I'm going to contact these individuals? And there's multiple ways of doing it. Character reference, a triangle offense, or like the founder of our company said, I don't know, they're your friends. You call them and set up the appointment. Right? There's so many different ways now that you can contact these individuals. So if you don't know how to do it on your own, talk with your trainer and set that up. Okay? Now, one thing, and I have to get better at this. One thing that we must do, especially Saturday at 11 o'clock, set a goal of how many appointments you're going to be on. You're going to schedule for that week. And it should be between 3 to 5 appointments that week, every week. So I told Colleen, who's a young stud on our team right now, who's just absolutely killing it. I just talked to her about 5 to 8 appointments a week. That's what you got to do. You do that, everything else will fall into place. And she's done that. Right? So have a goal on setting 5 QAs this week. And now, why 5 with that list? Because it's a warm list. That's why. It's your list. It's people you know. Ask for the favor. Hey, man, Ian, bro, you know what I've been doing for a while now. Listen, sit down with me, man. Stop messing around. Give me 10, 15 minutes. Let me just share with you what it is. It's not what you think it is. Come on, man, I do it for you. Right? Just be honest. Be direct. Who cares? Set up 5. Okay? Do that today. Now, this week, here's your focus. First, understand and know what the training schedule is. Right? And do not miss any of those trainings. Show up. Show up to every one of those trainings. Guys, it's 4 hours a week on average, depending on the team, right? 2 hours on Saturday, and maybe 2 hours, with your team and your partnership. 4 hours a week to change your life, right? So do not miss any of the trainings. Then have a game plan. If you're not licensed yet, have a game plan on completing half the chapters for the study material, for getting your license. Have a game plan, right? You're brand new. You went over with your trainer the schedule for the chapters. You got every state is different. I know in New York there's 9 chapters, right? Where 70% of the exam is on the first 4 chapters, right? Every state again is a little different. So focus on completing half of the chapters that you're studying this week, if you haven't passed the test yet, right? And then nothing is more important than what we just discussed, which is be on those 5 appointments this week, right? Be on those 3 to 5 appointments this week. Now, why is that critical? That's really where you get a chance to see why we get so excited about what we do. Why Shaq is excited, Josh, Chandel, Samir, Shay, Jen, right? Myself. Why do we love what we do? You can only see that when you're actually on an appointment. And when you're on this appointment, guess what happens with your confidence once you see it? It grows because you get more competent about what exactly we do, the difference. A lot of times, guys, you think that telling people that we help families, we help them financially speaking, that they get it. They don't get it. Most people don't get that. They have to see it. They have to see it. Right? I tell my boys all the time in playing sports, you don't know if you're going to like that. Strap it up, hit somebody. Then you'll learn. Then you'll understand. Then you understand the game of football. Oh, I want to be in the NFL. Man, please. You don't even try to go out and work out. So get on these appointments. And then you start to get a better feel for when we talk about the numbers, right? I'm going to discuss this a lot today. Numbers, right? And I know it almost sounds callous. It isn't. It's business, right? And here's what I've learned, Wells. Here's what I've learned. There is a disconnect for most of us between how we get paid hourly or salary and the value you get paid by growing what you're worth, right? We have been conditioned for the vast majority of our life to get paid by the time we put in. So when you come into this business and we talk about you got to run the numbers, there's no connection there. There's nothing that, there's no attraction there. There's no level of understanding. There's a huge disconnect because we don't get that part of it. That's why you get people telling you, wait a minute, this is a lot of work to make, how come I don't get paid per hour? How much am I going to make per hour? Or what am I going to make this week? How often do I get paid? That's the disconnect. They don't get that. Some of you don't get that. See, when we're talking about, training Colleen, there was one of her cousins that we sat down with, and at first she loved what we did. She was like, man, I definitely wanted the plan. I need the plan. She became a client right away. And Colleen said something that kind of caught her attention. She said to her, Karen, listen, do you know how much Gabe and I would make on this appointment that we just did with you? She goes, no. And then Colleen goes, Gabe, how much? And then I said to her, it was an $80 app, right? I said to her between Colleen and I, we would make approximately a little under $1,000. And her eyes lit up. Wait, $1,000 for an hour worth of work? Guys, that kind of compensation is going to be based on the value you bring to the marketplace. The question is, what's your value? But to get to this point, you have to get rid of this point here and that thinking. And how do we do that? Well, you got to be able to run the numbers. And that's what I'm going to talk about in a second. You got to make an impact and help your first family financially, right? When you see that, I always tell people, you have to see the difference we make first. You have to. Until you see that, you still don't understand. And Shaq says something which is true years ago. Really, you don't understand what we do until you've delivered a death claim. Once you deliver the death claim, you'll get a full picture of what we're about. Tanya and I have delivered 6 death claims this past year. And a number of other families that that passed away without anything. So don't ever apologize for what we do. Don't ever. And in December, I sat down with a client that has been a client of ours, life insurance clients, $500,000 in coverage for the last 10 years. And as part of our just, kind of looking at her situation again, we catch up at least once a year. She already has $500,000 saved, $350 in her 401k and about $150 in her accounts with us. So guess what I told her? We've accomplished a major goal financially speaking. Technically, you don't need life insurance anymore. You are self-insured. Man, you know how good it feels to say that to people? It's the first person I've said that to. So don't ever apologize for what we do, guys. Don't ever do that. Now, most important, and I think this, for most of us, again, no matter where you are in this business right now, you got to have someone to ride or die with. You have to. You got to bring someone on your side. You got to have someone that you can talk to and say, listen, I'm not going to let you quit and you're not going to let me quit. That may be challenging, but not really. Sometimes it's a spouse, the significant other. Sometimes it's a brother or a family member or son and daughter, mother and father, whatever the case may be. Find someone that you can build this with, man. You know, for Colleen, now if you're training somebody, you are that person to them. My whole mentality right now is to bring Colleen someone on her team that she can do that with, and we just recruited her daughter. Because I want that to now be the relationship. I want that partnership to grow. I want that for them to talk to each other and say, listen, we're going to make this happen. Because there's so much already out there of people who are going to try and pull you away from that. You can't let that happen. You got to solidify by bringing on board someone that you can ride or die with. And you got to do that this week. This week you have to do that. Guys, you may be thinking right now to yourselves, man, I don't know anybody. I gotta look on Facebook. And listen, forget all that nonsense, man. People are struggling. Jobs freaking suck, man. Jobs suck. The people that come to you and complain to you about their job, because I know it happens to all of us. We always have friends or family that do that. You tell them, shut up, come work with me. Let me show you why you don't have to keep complaining anymore. And if they keep complaining and don't work with you, then tell them, don't talk to me anymore. Don't allow that. You're allowing that. You're over here thinking you can't find nobody, but the person that is complaining to you about their freaking job, you keep allowing it to happen. That's your fault. Change that. This month, take your exam if you're not licensed already. And if you pass it, congrats. Forget everything you learned. Let's start again. If you fail it, on the other hand, go back and see what areas you did bad in and start with that. Study again. So what, you failed that? I failed it twice myself, and not many people are better than me at life insurance now. That I promise you. I'm a beast. And I failed it twice. And my first one was a 49, by the way. Stop laughing, Ian. That ain't funny. Right? And then I took it the second time, got like a 67. And I finally passed it 2 days later with a 71. And very few people in America today are better than me in life insurance and breaking it down. So just get it out the way and stop complaining and putting the whole business on the freaking test. Get it out the way. You guys know if you're studying or not. You know that. Yeah, I don't have to convince you of that. Don't lie. Don't lie to yourself. All right, so get that out the way. It's a freaking test. This month, you got to